Okay, we're going to try this again. We was trying this on our YouTube channel, so if you're not on our YouTube, go ahead and it's in the description right now. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We were having some difficulties over there from it freezing up on us for some reason, so we're just jumping on this to do it here. So what we are talking about is Biden's gun plan to his supposed to end the gun violence epidemic. Okay, so we are going to be going over that, and I'm reading straight off. Probably not able to see this, but straight off of his Biden Harris's page. So let's just go ahead and jump into this. Okay, first. This is all off the page. I'm gonna be reading it from his page. So it says Joe Biden knows that gun violence is a public health epidemic. Okay, right off the bat, what do you think about that? He thinks the public health epidemic is, or some of it's gun violence.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's an epidemic at all.
Or it's not. Okay, he says 40,000 people die each year. Okay, which I mean it's true. It's a little lower than 40,000, but roughly 40,000 people die from gun violence a year, okay, in some way, shape, or form. 60% of those are suicide. So 23,000 of those, or 40,000 people, almost 24,000, are from suicide. So you're not gonna stop suicides. You're not. It's just probably the easiest way for them to do it, okay? If they can't find the gun, they'll probably hang themselves or find some other way. So we are just going to go with murder and other. There's 3% other. Murder is 37% of that 40,000 people, which of the total population is 0.004%. And he is wanting to do all of this for a 0.004% of killings.
So barely anything.
Well, yes. I mean, it's still, I mean, people still shouldn't be, dying from gun violence or whatever. I agree with that, but this is our rights, okay? This is what we're going to get to, because you have... To me, this is my personal opinion about it, okay? Your First and Second Amendment right is like the most important ones to me, because your first one protects your speech, your freedom of speech. Supposedly, you're supposed to have freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. Okay, so, now where was I going with that?
Being the First and Second Amendment being the most important.
Okay, yeah. So when all hell is breaking loose, okay, and your freedom of speech isn't working, what do you go to? I mean, you have your gun rights, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, these two things are being under attack. So how do you control the population or control the people? You take away the most important things, which is your freedom of speech and your rights to own your guns. You have basic human rights is to own guns, okay? So I'm going to go over this policies that they want to put in place for guns, just to stop the 0.004% of people, which 60% of that is suicide.
So that 0.004% is what Biden means epidemic.
Yeah, which is what he's saying is gun epidemic, which obviously people dying from guns is no joke. It shouldn't be. No. It's not funny. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's still our rights, regardless.
Yeah.
And they're infringing on our First Amendment right and our Second Amendment right. Everybody knows everybody's been getting censored off of, social media like crazy. If you say the wrong things in public, you can get fired. So, I mean, this is not freedom of speech.
So look at it this way. If they hush you up by taking away your First Amendment, then disarm you by taking away your Second Amendment, right. You're basically controllable, guys. And
well, they are. That's exactly what's going to. And please, as we're going along, please comment on what you think about a lot of this stuff, because, I mean, this is...
share your thoughts and opinions as well.
This is really, really ridiculous, but we're going to just get into some of the stuff that he's talking about, okay? And so I've already read over this, obviously, a few times, and I'll point out what I'm talking about. But anyway, he get weapons of war off our streets. Okay, so he thinks specifically assault weapons and high capacity magazines are weapons of war, is what he's talking about. Okay, so he wants to ban the manufacture and sale of assault weapons, and high capacity magazines. Right off the bat, he wants to ban those, which means take them away completely, because he doesn't think it's your right to have them. Do you think it's our right to have?
Yes, I do.
An assault rifle?
Yeah, yes.
Why? Why do you think it's all right?
Well, because it's part of the Second Amendment.
I mean, it's definitely, okay. And reading that, he says, federal law prevents hunters from hunting migratory game birds with more than 3 shotgun shells in their gun. And he says that means our federal law does more to protect ducks than it does their own children.
I can't read that.
We'll read it there.
Oh, yeah. Anyone comes to get my gun will die, even if it ends in my life or ends in my death.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're already prepared for that. So he's saying that the federal law protects ducks more than it does your own child. That's what happens in Germany, and which is total bullcrap. Okay, because it's obviously against the law to kill children or anyone. So, and it's not against the law to kill ducks unless it's out of season, of course. But so that's obviously
that's not remotely the same.
Right. So there's no comparison there. So they're just being stupid, like Biden is anyway. So he wants to regulate. Okay, hold on. Let me count. I think there's 29 to 30 of these things he wants to put in place. Regulate possession of existing assault weapons under the National Firearms Act, which means he wants to register your firearms.
Register why?
Because he says, what is it?
He says.
Your short-barreled rifles go under background checks and register those, and possessing a machine gun and silencers, you're required to register those, and there's less violence because they're registered. So
okay,
that's his reasoning behind that.
Just because the government knows that you own this gun or that gun, it's less likely that the person who owns the gun is going to commit a crime with it.
That's what they're saying.
Does that make logical sense to you guys?
Well, none of this does. I mean, because the Second Amendment says you're not supposed to infringe on it at all anyway, period. Okay, he wants to buy back the assault weapons and high-capacity magazines already in our communities. So he's going to give us money to take our guns, is what that's saying.
Yeah, well, I'll give him a bullet or two. That's all he's getting.
Yeah, I'll give him a few bullets for free.
Yeah.
Reduce stockpiling of weapons, which is going to limit people on how many weapons they can buy or have in their house.
So what if we already have like a certain set of amount of guns like we do? What then?
Well, it doesn't say anything. It doesn't say anything about that. It don't say anything about if we already have.
Okay, so you may only purchase one per month if he does this.
Oh yeah, he's saying you can only purchase one per month, and
if Biden wins, there will be a civil
war.
war.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's going to work as well as the war on drugs did.
That's true. But yeah, he's saying he's going to restrict the number of firearms an individual may purchase per month to one. He wants to keep guns out of dangerous hands. The federal background check system, blah, 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 that's already in place. Require background checks for all gun sales. He says today an estimated 1 in 5 firearms are sold or transferred without a background check. I wonder where he comes up with that. I'd like to see if that's actually true or not. Biden will enact universal background check legislation requiring a background check for all gun sales with very limited exceptions. He wants to close other loopholes in the federal background check system. What loopholes is he talking about? I want to know loopholes. Because last time I bought a gun, I had to wait, 3 days?
The boyfriend loophole?
Oh, I don't know what that is. He says the boyfriend loophole. I don't know what that is. He wants to reinstate the Obama-Biden policy to keep guns out of the hands of certain people unable to manage their affairs for mental reasons, which President Trump reversed. President Trump reversed it because it was a load of crap. So, let's see here.
Okay, so he was saying, I want to mention this for a second.
Okay.
Whenever, he was saying for mental reasons, right. Do you think that a person who has a mental disability should be able to own a gun? I
think literally anybody should be able to own a gun.
Okay.
It is your human right to own a gun.
Okay.
That is my personal opinion. I'm like huge on Second Amendment. I think literally everybody should be able to own a gun.
Even if?
Yes, regardless.
Regardless, okay.
Anything, anybody.
Answer the question.
He wants to close the hate crime loophole, which I don't even know what these loopholes are even.
Donald says it's about disarming the people.
Yeah, it's always been about disarming the people. First, they're going to take away your freedom of speech, which is happening already, and they're going to be taking the guns.
That's because
if Biden gets in place, that's what he's going to try to do.
It's more controllable that way.
He wants to close the Charleston loophole. We got to start looking at these loopholes. Close the fugitive from justice loophole created by the Trump administration.
These are loopholes he probably just made up or had someone make up for him.
Well, this is saying he wants to close the fugitives from justice loophole created by the Trump administration.
You know
because of actions by the Trump administration, records of almost 500,000 fugitives from justice who are prohibited from purchasing firearms were deleted from the background check system. The Biden administration will restore these records.
Okay, how can those be restored, but some other things of the Bidens can't be restored?
Like the emails?
Mm-hmm. You know, I wonder if he can even remember all of this he's wanting to put in place.
I don't think it's him saying it. It's somebody else.
Probably not. It's, you've got a Kamala administration behind the keyboard there.
Yeah. He says he wants to end the online sale of firearms and ammunitions, which is extremely, extremely stupid because when you buy a gun online, you have to have it shipped to your dealer, your gun dealer. I think that's what the word is. Your
distributor?
No, I think there's a different word for it. But anyway, your gun dealer person, and then you have to buy it from them, and you still have to go through a background check. So it's not like you just order it and it gets shipped to your house, which is probably what he thinks.
And then you pay only shipping and handling for it.
Yes. He wants to create an effective program to ensure individuals who become prohibited from possessing firearms relinquish their weapons.
Okay, what?
He wants to create an effective program, so he doesn't know what program yet. He just wants to create an effective one.
An effective program.
Yeah, he wants to create an effective program to ensure individuals who become prohibited from possessing firearms relinquish their weapons.
You want to know what my thoughts on that is? His effective program? Throwing everyone who doesn't give up their guns in jail, prison, whatever. That's going to be their effective program. That's exactly what that's.
All right, he wants to incentivize state extreme risk laws, which they're going to dictate all these red flag laws. So if they feel like you don't deserve to have a gun, they're going to come take it from you. That's what the whole red flag law is. Give states incentives to set up gun licensing programs. Biden will enact legislation to give states and local government grants to require individuals to obtain a license prior to purchasing a gun. So for you, under him, for you to be able to purchase a gun, you have to have a license to purchase any gun you have. Of course, besides assault weapons, because he's going to ban those completely.
So basically, he's going to make it the hardest as possible as he can
Yes.
for you guys and us to obtain a gun.
Yes, exactly. He wants to adequately fund the background check system. President Obama and Vice President Biden expanded incentives. Let's go on to the next one. There's a lot here. There's a lot of gun stuff they want to do. Make sure firearm owners take on the responsibility of ensuring their weapons are used safely. Responsible gun owners do that already. Okay? Responsible ones. He wants to put America on the path to ensuring that 100% of firearms sold in America are smart guns.
What the hell is a smart gun? What is that?
No, I'll explain what it is in a second. Okay. He wants... Bad enough the guns have, like, malfunctions all the time anyway. Regardless of having any sort of, like...
But putting a brain in there is going to make it better.
Regardless, before you even put any kind of electronic stuff in there, they already have, like, malfunctions and cleaning, because you don't clean them and issues like that. But the smart technology is to allow authorized users to fire guns, so it reads your fingerprint.
So it's kind of like before you can drive, you got to blow in the thing.
Except you got your little fingerprint.
And it won't
thing.
fire if, what if you
So if someone breaks into your house, you better hope that thing reads your finger pretty damn quick.
You don't have anything on your finger, you got to rub it off and pull the trigger.
And yeah, and hopefully it doesn't wrong finger, and it goes, and then the bad guy knows, so you're kind of screwed. Hold adults accountable for giving minors access to firearms, which isn't that in place already?
What?
He wants to hold adults accountable for giving minors access to firearms.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's in place or not, but I mean,
it makes sense. I mean, this is probably the one out of many that we only.
Well, I mean, it depends on. I don't know. I just don't disagree with that. All right, we got a comment. You want to read that one real quick?
Okay. Donald says what this amounts to is disarm everyone except those he deems worthy to have one. Who is he to determine who gets to carry a firearm?
Right, and everyone he wants to deem to have a firearm is people who make money, because it's going to be very expensive to own a firearm.
You know what? If you think about it, all these rules that he's wanting to set in place, he's not even. I don't think he should be capable to have a firearm.
Him? Yeah. He's probably falling on one of those mental things.
Yeah, but you even said that all mental people should. He's
Well,
one
yeah.
of the people you're going to let have a firearm.
Well, I'm okay with it. If he wants to have a firearm, he has his human right to have a firearm. That's how, pro-second amendment I am. Okay, he wants to empower law enforcement. Okay. After, of course, he defunds the police. Well, He don't say defund. He says
He supports the groups who do
recirculate the money somewhere else, which means takes money away from the police, which is defunding the
And
police.
he thinks we can't read in between the lines.
He wants to empower law enforcement, of course, after he takes the money away from them, to effectively enforce our gun laws. So he's going to force the cops to enforce the gun laws.
And what if the cops turn on him?
Oh, I don't know.
Civil war. That's what it's coming to.
Is prioritize prosecution of straw purchasers, which straw purchasers is buy a firearm on behalf of someone who cannot pass a background check. So
well, that's already illegal. You can't
you're not
do that
supposed to do that
already.
anyway. But okay, and this one's really stupid too. Notify law enforcement when a potential firearm purchaser fails a background check. So after all these laws come up with all this stuff, and you don't know if you're actually legal to have one now under him, and then your background fails, they're going to notify police, and the police are then going to watch you and make sure you do not try to buy a firearm anywhere else. So if you fail one, then they're going to watch you like your little child, and babysit you.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he wants to require firearm owners to report if their weapon is lost or stolen, which
You're supposed to do that
you should
anyway.
anyway. That's stupid. Stop ghost guns. Ghost guns.
So we've got smart guns. We've got ghost guns. Our 2-year-old just laughed at that.
Well, it's just stuff like buying like gun parts to create one,
Yeah.
or 3D printing one.
I know.
Seriously,
what
that's
you
what it
meant
said.
by that,
Okay. Reform, fund, and empower the U.S. Justice Department to enforce our gun laws. So he's going to get everybody he can to enforce these laws, after he defunds them. Direct the ATF to issue an annual report on firearms trafficking. Dude, look how tight he wants to make these guns.
And it's probably not even him.
Dedicate the brightest scientific minds to solving the gun violence public health epidemic. Okay.
So he's wanting to put scientific minds to this epidemic, but not the one circulating about us now.
Oh, he's got a plan.
His plan. What's his plan?
His plan is what Trump's been doing. But
To make it more effective.
this
right?
epidemic is 14,000 people a year. Is his idea of epidemic. Okay.
14,000 people a year.
Yeah, a little over 14,000 people a year die from being murdered from a gun. He wants to prohibit the use of federal funds to arm or train educators to discharge firearms. Address the epidemic of suicides by firearms. I mean, suicide's never a good option, obviously. And that's it. I mean, I say that's it. Let's see here. Let me count those out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So if Biden does become president, there's going to be 31. He's going to try to pass 31 new gun laws. So
Yeah.
hopefully he doesn't win.
Hopefully not. And hopefully you guys are going and voting
Oh yeah, election is Tuesday.
Tuesday. That's
So.
scary.
It is scary. It's gonna be scary what is going to happen. So, but we'll see.
Yes.
All right, that's gonna be it for tonight, guys. Thanks for watching. It kind of sucks because YouTube totally screwed us up.
Oh, I do want to say that, Donna, if you're still watching, that a whole thing about YouTube trying to censor us, I can no longer see it on my, because I refreshed it,
Yes,
I
you might
can no
delete it,
longer
too.
see it. Well, I mean, that's true, but I can't like it either.
You got
Yes,
something?
that's true.
What?
He doesn't, in other words, he doesn't want anyone to be able to buy a gun.
Exactly. So for all you people that love your guns, well, if he gets it, you might as well kiss your guns goodbye. What?
Read this one.
Okay. You think all the cronies in BLM are going to abide by any restrictive gun laws? You think he's going to enforce it upon them? Then what happens to the law-abiding citizen? Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. If he does end up getting elected, which I don't see it happening, but if he does by chance somehow win the election, he does end up doing all this, it's just going to hurt the law-abiding citizens.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's his point.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole point of it. So,
All right, guys, we will hopefully be able to tune in tomorrow
on YouTube.
via
We
YouTube.
try to keep this on YouTube now, but YouTube was for some reason skipping.
So bad.
I think it's skipping now. It was making us skip a lot, so we just went ahead and going here. So if you're not on the YouTube, go subscribe to us on the YouTube. All right, thanks for watching, guys.